welcome back to the Riverbend podcast. My name is Alan Diocampo. With me today, two very special guests. Can you please introduce yourselves?
Yeah, first.
Hi, I'm Megan.
And I'm Matt.
Matt, so what are your guys' titles and what do you two do?
In terms of the business side,
And personal lives and stuff like that.
personal life, well, I guess I'll start first. So basically, to introduce myself, like I said, my name is Matt. For the most part, during the day, I do hairstyling, barbering, whatever you want to call it. I've been doing it for nearly 8 years now. So that's basically what I've all been doing this past time. And yeah, that's kind of what I do.
Nice.
Pass it on to her.
Funny enough, I actually do work in the food industry. So I work in corporate quality assurance as a food safety specialist. So that's what I do during my 9 to 5 during the week. And then we do subi on the weekend or whenever we have time for that.
How long have you been food
I've been in the food industry now for about maybe almost 6 years. So it's been a while. I'm doing corporate now. It's been a year and a half, so it's been really cool. Yeah, I kind of support like a really big agriculture company, and they process food, and I help to support those facilities that process the food, and I get to travel for work, so it's super fun.
How often are you outside of Winnipeg for your job?
It depends on, so what I do is that I'll audit those facilities, so it just depends on the auditing schedule. So we audit those facilities once per year. Actually, I just came back from Missouri. So I was there like 2 weeks ago, and I was there for an audit. I got to visit the facility there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Matt, you've been at MBS for like a long time too, right?
Yeah,
The
so the shop itself in MBS has been open for, since 2019, so about 6 years. It'll be 6 years this December. But before that, I was actually at a shop not too far away from here. It was Ordinary. So I was there for about a year and a half. And then we kind of just transitioned into our own space at MBS by Polo Park there, and it's been good ever since, and it's still going.
Yeah.
So.
How long have you two been running Subi Winnipeg?
We started June of this year, so it hasn't really been too long. Yeah,
Not
started in the
even
summer.
half a year yet. So
yeah.
yeah.
How did this start? One of my other questions was, do any of you guys have a background in food industry? But
Yeah, there you go.
You guys do.
I have zero.
Yeah.
Completely zero. So, I mean, I've just been in the service industry, but she can go ahead and answer the question.
Yeah, how we started Subi?
Yeah.
So actually, it started when we went to visit Hawaii last year. We were there for the first time, September of 2024, for my birthday. So it was a birthday trip. And Masubi is actually everywhere there. I think it's really part of their local identity. Like if you go to restaurants, they serve it. If you go to 7-Eleven, the convenience stores, they have it there ready to go. And even their local supermarkets, it's kind of just like a ready-to-eat food that they have as like a popular Hawaiian snack. So when we were there, we hiked a lot. We went to the beaches, and we would always need like an in-between snack, kind of in between lunch to dinner to kind of just fulfill you for a little bit. So we would get them a subi. And there's so many different flavors, and our favorite that we tried was the eel and avocado.
Ooh.
It was so good. So we had that. We came back from vacation. We kind of had the vacation blues. It was something that we would always kind of crave but never kind of made. And then one day I was like, you know what, I'm just going to make it.
Yeah.
So we were in our kitchen, we were trialing. We made like our own personal sauce with it as well. And then I made it for Matt. And
Yeah,
then,
I think I was getting off of a shift on Saturday, because I work Saturdays and she's off Saturdays, so that's like her time to kind of do her own thing and whatnot. And typically when she picks me, she'll drop me off just in case she needs a car. And then by the time she picked me up that one day, she just showed up with it. To be honest,
I was
completely surprised.
it.
Yeah, and I was just like, oh wow, you made spam masubi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was this in the parking lot when?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It
I
was
mean, we've
right
had
at the
spam
parking lot.
masubi before.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like our friends make it, and it's something that we've had previously. But I tried to kind of make it authentic to how we had it in Hawaii. So then made it, we enjoyed it, and we kind of just kept making it. And then finally, we made it for family and friends, and we got a lot of positive feedback. So we're like, you know what, let's kind of test the waters and see. And then funny enough, there was actually so many people who reached out to us that also had a similar trip where they came back and they were kind of craving the musubi. And then it kind of just started from there. And then from then, we've been making it on the weekends that we have available or we're free. Yeah.
That sauce you make, what's included in that sauce?
It's like a teriyaki mayo. So the teriyaki sauce is in-house. It's like a secret subi sauce, if you want to call it that way. And then we mix it with kipi mayo, and then that's how we make it. Yeah.
So musubi, what made you decide on musubi as a business out of everything, out of like a different food besides that?
I think what it is the nostalgia part. I'm sure you being Filipino, it's if you opened your cupboard right now, there probably is some sort of luncheon meat or spam in there, right? Like growing up on that.
Yeah.
So it has to do a lot with that. But in the sense, it's kind of one of those things where, again, going back to our trip for Hawaii, just having it as a go-to while traveling and whatnot, and something really easy to reach, fairly small, doesn't take up too much space, and whatnot. But the main part of it, I think, is like there are some places that offer spam musubi in the city, right? But if you kind of take a look at the market, it's not necessarily the forefront of their business, right? There are a couple businesses where they're known for something else, and then, oh, by the way, we also sell this. Right, so kind of just taking a look at Winnipeg, it being a wonderful food scene, but still a smaller city and still growing. There's a lot of untapped kind of gray area that if you were to start something, you'd be like, oh, there's like one or two people, but like in our case, we kind of just saw it as an opportunity. It's like, you know what? There's not really anyone executing of just spam musubi, right? Just that would be our forefront. That's what our business is. That's what what we'd be kind of sticking out for. So from then on, again, like Megan said, like we've been just getting positive feedback from friends and family, and like to the point where they were really just pushing us to kind of, what, you guys should start this. It's really good, and then kind of just go from there.
Yeah.
So for the people that don't know what musubi is, would you care to explain what?
Sure. Do you wanna?
Yeah, it's literally luncheon meat. It's like processed meat in a can that you can slice up and fry. And there's kind of American, Japanese, Hawaiian influence to the musubi itself. So you have the spam, and then you have a piece of nori and sushi rice that you kind of compile together using tools. And yeah, that's how it's served.
You already mentioned that eel musubi as well. What are your guys' favorite musubi though?
My personal favorite, I love the tamago one. Yeah, tamago is my favorite.
I mean, I'm no picky eater, and the more toppings, the merrier for me. So that the eel one that we make is it has basically the regular spam musubi, and then you have the eel, tamago, and the avocado. So it's like super deluxe. So
that
like,
I think that one's the crowd favorite.
Yeah, that one is definitely a crowd favorite. Obviously, if you're either allergic or just not a fan of eel, then people kind of sway away from it. But nonetheless, for the most part, if you're not a picky eater, people actually like to lean towards that one. So that's my personal favorite there.
Yeah, I feel like tamago would be like a safe bet because it's just
like
egg.
It's basically egg,
so
just
good.
a little sweeter. Yeah, it's definitely a thing.
And like spam can be like a bit salty for people. We do get the low sodium one, but it can be a bit salty. So I feel like the egg kind of balances out that taste.
For sure.
Yeah.
Were there any struggles starting up a business here in Winnipeg?
I think independent to Winnipeg, there's always going to be some sort of struggle when you're starting off a business. You have to look at permits and inspections, and in this case, in a food business, like your food handlers. And obviously, all of that takes time and money. So there's also like that limbo time when you're kind of waiting for approvals, waiting for people to get back to you. So that's kind of something you have to keep in mind. And I think sometimes you kind of also underestimate the cost of startup. Like you're buying ingredients, you're buying equipment, you're kind of buying packaging material, and it all adds up, and you kind of pour all your extra money into your business, and there's so much unknown, like you're not sure, you're thinking to yourself, is this gonna work out? But and then for Winnipeg itself, I think in specific to Winnipeg, the food scene here is so amazing. And I think even the local business market, we have so many amazing local businesses. So the challenge there, I think, is how do you differentiate yourself from those businesses? How do you stand out? And we had to really sit down and think about branding and even the aesthetic of our overall business. And yeah, I think from my point of view, Winnipeg is a very community-driven city when it comes to local markets. And I love that, right? But when it comes to building your business and even your presence on social media, that takes time.
Yeah. And I think to add on to that, it's us having kind of established careers already, it being, full-time jobs, she's Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. Mine's a little bit more lenient considering like I can work whenever I want, but I obviously still have to work. So I work Tuesdays to Saturday, and it's kind of finding the balance of how far do you want to go with this business and how much effort outside of your full-time job that's already exhausting do you want to present to that business, right? So I think that's such a that's a specific struggle that people kind of hit and kind of deal with, is definitely trying to find the time outside of your regular career to kind of just start something, which in my opinion, in today's economy, I honestly advise having some sort of other income outside of your, of your actual career. Because like, what COVID taught us, it's like you're one income away from having no job and being borderline broke, right? Like that's just how it was, right? Specifically for me, I can't make money if I don't cut hair, and then to cut hair, I need you to be in front of me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think like that's where a lot of businesses and side gigs, whether that's food, services, whatever it is, that's kind of where I feel like a lot of things started from. But like I said, she pointed out amazing points for struggles, but like there's just so much gray, especially if you're starting off with no knowledge.
Know.
You just don't know. Like even the smallest things of registering your business, I don't know if anyone else knows. Do you know what website to use? No. That's what I mean. You know what I mean? So it's just like literally just starting from scratch was definitely something like, okay, where do we start? Right? Thankfully, family members, friends are kind of already doing stuff like that. So having them around and using our resources to kind of like ask for help and like pointers and tips have been very, very helpful through the process of struggle. But yeah, I just think that in general, starting a business it's definitely hard in itself, especially to kind of get it from the ground and up. But
in our case, like initially we bought a lot of Spam. Maybe like 70, 80 cans.
Yeah.
I've read an article on that actually.
Yeah.
You guys
I think the
read this
article said like 72. 72 cans of Spam.
That is a lot.
Yeah, you kind of think to yourself like, am I gonna sell this? Or am I not gonna sell this?
Yeah, I definitely think that's like a common
that's a
question.
Common question a lot of small
especially
businesses.
if you're starting out. It's like, do I go crazy with the inventory? Do I hold back? Like, I don't know if this is gonna sell, right? But like, what we found is that you kind of just have to put your stuff out there, and then you'll find your answer.
Like that's the risk you take.
Exactly.
And you take the chance, and you kind of just have to see it through, especially if you're passionate about what you're doing and you really believe in your product, right?
Keep your main job, but also have a side hustle.
Yeah, 100%. Like, it could be something small, right? Like, just doing something. As long as you give yourself something to enjoy outside of your career. I mean, for the most part, like, you hear people complain, I have to go to work, right? They typically sometimes just don't enjoy their job, right? So, like, why not owe it to yourself to find something that you do enjoy, right? You don't necessarily have to make money off of it, right? Like, just finding the joy outside of everything to just find that you really, really look forward to, I think is what it is, right? Because like, you get off work, you're like, oh, wow, I get to do this right after work, right? Now coming home isn't so dreadful, right?
It's fun.
So
I guess especially if you do work a full-time job and you start something on the side, you're kind of just used to that everyday mundane life from Monday to Friday. But when you have something like a side business, you get to exercise your creativity, exercise those skills. And in specific to Subi, we started it together. It's something we enjoy doing together. So it's been a super fun process still. Even if there's struggle, right? Even if there's challenges. Yeah.
So you mentioned that family and friends were always supporting you through this. When you guys like did your first like batch of stuff, how much like support did you originally receive when it did just first start?
I think initially it just kind of started with immediate family. I guess it started with me, to be, I guess, in the parking lot with when she first made it. So, and then from there, it's kind of one of those things where, like in Filipino culture, when you're invited to a party, you typically don't want to come empty-handed.
Yeah.
So that was just something that she would make and just bring to parties, and like, you know, it would be her sister or brother's birthday party, her mom, my mom, like whatever it may be. And then, you know, I would say it's something different that people don't typically bring, right? Like to a party. I mean, for the most part, you would bring, I don't know, like a fruit platter or something, right? Like, for the most part. So, like, and it's not something that you see on the table very, very commonly, right? So I think just people seeing that were kind of like, oh, well, what's this? Like, let me try this. Exactly. So it definitely started with like close-knit family and friends, and like we moved out about a year and a half ago, and so ever since then we thoroughly enjoy like hosting parties with friends. So we would have them over, and you know, that's what we would also make, and then they fell in love with it, and then they told us to push for it, right? So it just started with one close-knit group of friends and family, and then they would tell their friends and family again, until the point it was like, okay, like maybe we should actually do this.
Like when we were doing our testing and our kind of trial runs with it, it was mainly for family and friends. We kind of wanted to get their feedback, like their honest feedback. And most of it was positive. Actually, almost all of it was positive. Yeah. So then that's when we were like, you know what, maybe we should pursue this as an actual business and see where it goes.
As a newer business you guys just started recently, do you two plan on expanding eventually? Maybe like opening a restaurant or like doing like big events or stuff like that?
We've chatted about this. Yeah. Actually.
We definitely have.
Yeah.
And I think us being just so brand new at this point, anything is an expansion. It's, you know, we're very appreciative that it's growing at the pace that it's growing. Within each drop that we do, because that's how we do it as of right now, is pre-orders through Instagram. It's just grown every single time, every single batch of orders. It's grown by the orders, and people who've ordered from the first one have ordered through all of them. Like we have repeat customers. But in terms of the future,
every order means so much to us. Whether if it's like you're trying it for the first time or you've been there since the start. As you said, every pre-order we kind of keep getting busier. So we've been in talks about kind of what's next. I think probably markets, because like I said earlier, Winnipeg has such an amazing like local business community, and we have so many markets throughout the year, right? Whether that's in the summer or the winter. So probably kind of just show up there and see how it goes.
Again, we started later in June. And again, it was just at that point we were like, should we really do this? And by the time we really figured out like, we should actually do this, the summer market scene kind of just already closed. So it's like, okay, this is, you know, we'll take it as it is. We can actually take this time over the winter to kind of just prep for next year, right? And which direction we want to go. And if we do pop-up markets, how do we want to do it? Do we want to cook on site? Do we want to just have it pre-made and then just have X amount of quantity with us and then sell until sold out, right? Like, so there's so many questions that we definitely want to tackle and come up with solutions and systems for. But like I said, I think for us, just taking the first step that we see in front of us is super important. And just taking action and just being adaptable and adjusting on the fly, whatever presents itself for us. So
it's all really trial and error.
100%.
Everything's so new too. It's exciting, but it's like so new.
Yeah. Also, this apple juice is like almost impossible to open. I've like been struggling under the table to kind of like open it. Oh, there you go. Thank you. There you go. Guess mine was a little harder than.
When I opened it, I was like, "Am I gonna be able to open this?" Or like get down here.
So, do you guys do like quantity amounts when you guys do drops? for
It's more so made to order. So what it is that we'll release a pre-order, and then if you want to order, you DM us, and then we kind of give you a time slot, and we only take a specific amount of orders during an allotted time slot. So let's say we're doing like a 12 to 5 pre-order pickup. We'll try to make maybe 10 to 15 orders per hour, sometimes even more. A lot of people want to order last minute. We try to take as much as we can, but obviously that's a bit hard, right? Because whenever we do the pre-orders, we have to account for all the ingredients, all the packaging, so we kind of pre-make it all. But that's basically what we do.
How do you two divide the work? Who's doing what?
It's a good question.
For the most part, like, we've obviously gotten help now because we've grown, but for the most part, I was the person just flipping the spam and whatnot.
He's better
So
at
I've nailed it down to a science basically. But it's kind of on the fly as well. Like, I'll make the rice if it's empty. She'll make the rice if she has time, right? So being able to work cohesively is super important, but obviously delegating to who does which. I don't touch any of the assembling part. That's her thing. Like, I have no kind of area of assembling and wrapping and everything. I'm not very good at that. But I will fry some mean spam. But just doing that. And then for the matcha, I typically am really the only one that does that one. So now that we've gotten help since we've grown, I've been able to kind of delegate people to fry the spam. And I can go ahead and like do the matcha orders and whatnot. But for the most part, she really does everything. Everything else.
Frying, so I'm kind of assembling, but we prep the material, like the packaging material, beforehand.
Yes.
So we'll kind of put the stickers on together on the cups, on the boxes, and prep that.
What's the process like? It's created at your guys' place, right? Or is it somewhere else?
We recently just got into a commercial kitchen. That's kind of what we really wanted to nail the past couple months or so. Just waiting on permits in general just take very, very long. So that's why we didn't drop for so long. But it's a game changer at a commercial kitchen. The one specifically that we go to has like a massive griddle, and like you can fit like 50 spams in one go. So like the quantity is definitely there. But in terms of process, I think you can say kind of where we start for the process.
Yeah. I guess we kind of mentioned it earlier, but just to echo, we take the pre-orders, and then we establish how many orders we have. We prep for that, and then we go into the commercial kitchen we're using now, and then we just do it together. We actually include our friends now.
Yeah, which is
we're
super
so
fun.
Grateful for them.
Super
they come
fun.
and help all the time.
It's kind of just like we're all doing our own thing. We're all talking.
Like our cousins have come, our siblings have come.
So it's fun. It's a family thing, I guess.
Family and friend affair.
This one might be a tiny bit controversial, but what's the hardest part about running a business with your partner?
I think it is definitely controversial, but I think it depends. Like, it depends on the context
What
of
does that
like.
mean? No, I'm just joking.
It depends on the context of like you said when you asked about what do I do, what does she do? I think we're just very good at kind of doubling down on our strengths and weaknesses as individuals. Like I said, arts and crafts and assembling stuff, that's not me. Like I can't do that for the life of me, right? She's very good at that stuff. Aesthetics to the T. She works in quality assurance, so she has an eye for quality and like very minute details. I guess in my industry of cutting hair, I also have it in that sense, but that's completely different. But I think there hasn't been too many struggles. Again, it's pretty new, but I think if I were to name on the top of my head, it's like, again, after a long day, knowing that, okay, Sunday is Subi Sunday and we have to do a drop, like just being, tired from the rest of the week and then just having to have a whole other business has been a little bit of a struggle in the sense like we're both tired and whatnot. But nonetheless, I really don't think there's too much.
Actually, I want to say mine's a very positive experience. Like getting to work with him in the business, because where I lack, he steps up. So let's say, like you said, I'm tired from a whole week of work, or I was on that trip a couple of weeks ago, and he had to do some Subi stuff in the background. He stepped up. whenever we buy ingredients, when he has time during the day.
Oh
we'll
yeah,
go and buy
so like
ingredients.
stuff like that, like
Yeah.
buy ingredients from the
cans.
places that we go.
Yeah.
Again, my schedule allows me to do whatever I want, so
Yeah.
I can just go in, block off an hour or two, and I'm in the Polo Park area already, so we get stuff from Costco, wholesale. There's the stuff where we get our boxes from. It allows me to kind of literally just get out of the shop and then just go around. So I think just finding the balance in the sense of, okay, we are two people trying to run a business, right?
Yeah.
I don't think you should necessarily see it as we're a couple running the business. Obviously, it's amazing that we get to do it together. But if I just feel like if you really want to succeed in something, you have to kind of approach it in a business aspect as always, because that's what it is.
Yeah.
Right? As soon as you start it as a relationship affair, then it can get shaky because now you have an excuse to use. It's like, oh, you didn't do this, oh, you didn't do that, right? But I think why it also works very well is because, like, you know, every couple, as they go on, you kind of try to figure out, oh, like, what's something new we could do together, right?
Yeah.
So, in all honesty, it's probably more of a solution than a problem because it's like, now we actually get to do stuff
Something
together,
Yeah.
right? Rather than trying to figure, it's like, oh, we can try this, or we can try this. Or there's, I don't know, couples that just don't do anything, right? And then they
Yeah.
create a problem, right?
Yeah.
So this is honestly more of a solution than anything, right?
Yeah.
So it's been really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
That was my actual next question. The
Oh,
other side.
thanks. All the positives?
Yeah, on the positive.
Like-
Oh yeah. No,
I
I
guess
would
from
say
another
that.
perspective, like I have no entrepreneurial background and he does.
Mhm.
So I'm constantly learning from him too as we go on in this business.
Yeah.
So I think,
Yeah, I think that's also. I guess that could also be technically a little bit of a gray area because I'm already in that entrepreneurial mindset
Yeah.
because I've exercised it for 8 years.
yeah.
Right? So me trying to not teach her, but just have the right mindset. Okay, like this is kind of like how you need to have your mind ready to go when approaching a business. Like for example, don't be in it for the money, right? Be in it because it's something we love to do, right? And the money will come, right? It was hard for me to see that in the beginning because, you know, I was young, I was 20 years old, right? I was working at Full Locker at the time. I was making just a couple dollars over, you know, minimum wage,
Yeah.
right? So the first thing I had in my mind is like, okay, well, what kind of money can I make off of doing this, right? Of cutting hair, right? I honestly didn't see anything too generous of, you know, in terms of money till maybe 5 or 6 years in. And I've been doing it for 8, right? So it's like, if you told a person's like, hey, for about 5 years, you're really not going to be making anything, it doesn't really attract people, right? And again, on her, she has a stable income, she has a salary, right? People pay her, people take her taxes, people do all these things. It's scary, right? Like you kind of just have to face it head on. And I think just trying to instill that to her, in which she's very calculative and she needs to know what the result is, you know, something that like is not the opposite, but when you're an entrepreneur, you just have to take action, and then you adapt on the fly, and then you get the result, right? You kind of just have to work hard, but like that's not her fault, right? That's just what a 9 to 5 is.
Yeah.
Right? Without, like she said, she had no outlet to, you know, for her creative side, which I think is, at this point, it has to be something so necessary. I feel like that people need to do.
Yeah.
You need to exercise your creative side because, like, you're living at that point. You're living a black and gray life. Hey, if you love that, if that's like your dream and your goal, like I'm not going to take that from you. But it's like, I feel like that's just what's something that you can sprinkle on your day that you can, again, to look forward to, is to create something that like that you created, right? Like I tell her all the time, it's like, hey, you created this, look at where it's at now, right? And we just started, right? I'm just there to experience it all and obviously help out and whatnot, but like at the end of the day, it's her running the Instagram page, it's her responding. Like I'll respond to when people are here, like picking up the orders, like okay, right? But for the most part, she's the one that's relaying the messages, right? So from the ground up, it's something that she can do and exercise, and she thoroughly, you know, enjoys it, and it's a new experience for her, right? So, yeah.
What are your 2 most proudest moments so far in your business adventure, like individually wise?
Individually wise,
Yeah.
I want to say for
Because it can
me,
be different for both.
For sure,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think for me, like growing up Filipino, like food is definitely like a labor of love.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have your Lola cooking for you, your mom cooking for you. And I was fortunate enough growing up where I always had food after school, right? And I love how food makes you feel emotion. And the fact that we get to do that with the Masubi makes it really special for me. I think earlier on we made a box for somebody and he had messaged me after and he said, hey, like I grew up eating spam. My mom would make me spam. Like, thank you for the nostalgia. And ever since then, I was like, you know what? He's right, because we even ate spam growing up as well. It is very nostalgic for us. But yeah, just allowing people to feel something when they eat the food is what I like about it the most. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely, that is definitely something that is super, like, to be proud of. And, like, coming from the service industry, I know exactly what that feeling is. And I was telling her actually either yesterday or the other day that, like, what you're feeling right now is, like, kind of the feeling that I felt when I first started barbering. Where it's, like, I'm able to make people feel good and look good and they feel confident. And, like, just knowing, like, you know, I'll finish a haircut and they're smiling and, you know, their mood's uplifted. It's something that they look forward to when they come back. So I definitely know that feeling. It's very familiar, and it's something that I would love everyone to kind of experience.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess going back to the question for, I guess, personally, I think just, again, I've been cutting hair for 8 years, so being able to kind of be part of something new and, like, exercise, again, that creativity bone, I guess if you can call it that, is something that I always look forward to. But even just being in the free press was, like, amazing.
Yeah.
I haven't been on the free press, you know, so, and good thing it was for something good and nothing bad. But huge accomplishment, right? Like, our friends and family were going crazy, right? Who knew just being on the paper was, you know, I funny enough, I actually had to ask the guy.
Did you keep one?
We got like 6 maybe.
I had to ask the guy, like, where do you even get newspapers, right? It's like, because for the most part, it's subscription based now online. He's like, oh, like your local gas station or 7-Eleven should have some. So yeah, something as simple as that. And I honestly, I love being around friends and family.
Yeah.
So just the fact that we can involve them and have them part of the upbringing of this business and kind of just growing together is super cool. Like, I can message my cousins, like, hey, do you want to fry some spam, like, on Sunday?
It's just so fun.
You know, and, like, family is such a huge thing in both of our lives individually, and it's, I grew up always being close with my cousins, and you know what, they just don't mind at all, and they love being there. We love them being there, and it's a great time. So I think that aspect of bringing, you know, some family into the business and helping us is super cool.
Yeah. This is my final question.
Okay.
What are your goals for the coming year, 2026?
Goals.
Like, as personally or as for, like...
Give me both, actually. Business and
Sure, okay.
personal. Yeah.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you can drive that.
I guess we'll start personally. I think, you know, closing in, what are we, a month and a half or so away from 2026. I think it's just mainly executing this business specifically. But I guess personally, it's one of those things that I feel like I've accomplished a lot of the things that I set out for this year. And I think starting a different business besides barbering was one of them, and we're currently in that situation. But going into 2026, I guess just trying to just double down on, like, Subi Winnipeg. Like, I genuinely think it could take off, or it will take off, and I think we definitely have something here, and just kind of taking it where we ourselves don't even expect it. Other people don't even expect it. But that's the beauty of entrepreneurship, right? You just never know. But if you put in the work and if you definitely believe in what you have, it goes somewhere, right? And that's what, being in the service industry for this long has taught me. So I think for next year is really trying to squeeze every opportunity that comes our way and just taking it, right? Whether it's a lesson to be learned or if it's the thing that kind of rockets it off to the sky, right? I definitely think just taking every opportunity possible in 2026 for this business is going to be fun, scary. There's going to be some low points, but like if you tell yourself and you expect those low points and you just tell yourself those are just learning experiences more or less than something to be sad about, I really don't think you can lose at this point, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that is what I would really want for personally and for the business. Right?
Yeah. For me, for Subi, for next year, I think my goal is definitely to do markets. That's really at the top of my list.
Yeah.
I kind of think we get to reach more people. Because with the pre-order setup, it's kind of hard. You kind of have to pick the time slot and ensure people are free during that time slot that we've chosen, or even if they can drive to the pickup place, right?
Yeah.
But I think markets would be fun, more exposure as well for the business. Personally, I think my goal is to make more content. I think to tie in with Subi, I feel like I'm...
content.
Yeah, I feel like I'm not really like one for the limelight. Like it's definitely new for me and I'm learning, and I think I want to kind of do more content on our Instagram page, maybe even other social media platforms.
Yeah.
But that'll have to be something I kind of take day by day, like making the videos, learning how to edit.
Shout out to content creators because
it's hard.
It's such a struggle. Like besides this, I guess I also didn't mention, but I also like collect cologne. I make videos about it and make reviews and whatnot. But like, try to have a standard of high production, like using a mirrorless camera, right? Using good lenses, mic quality, right? It's something that I've always been a fan of, right? So. And I guess that would add on to another point is content creation it may seem so easy. And yes, you can go pick up a phone now and record yourself. But again, like having a certain bar of standard to quality is definitely something that both of us, I feel like, love to strive for. Yeah. And I definitely think that for a personal goal of mine, I guess completely aside from Subi is like, there's this huge like fragrance event that happens in Dubai, and I told her like, it just happened like a few weeks ago. I'm like, we're gonna make it there one day, right? Like they like fly people first class and whatever. It's super cool. Like that's definitely like a personal goal of mine aside from like the business. But again, content creation is definitely huge. And again, shout out to content creators that post every day, multiple times a day, because it is not easy. It is hard, right? Especially if it's something you're doing on the side. After you're, for me specifically, I'm talking to like 10 different people every single day. So my social battery ends up being 0 by the time I get home, right? So it's just like having to set up the camera, then you have your lighting, then making sure your mic's working, and then you put it up, and then you have to kind of record yourself. So it definitely takes some time, but I think us doing it together is definitely, again, something that we can enjoy and chase after, but I think that's definitely a big one, right?
Yeah, and probably, I think for me being less of a perfectionist, I think I want to exercise more of like a free-flowing mind, kind of just let things happen as they go and learn as they go, or learn as we go, and like you said it earlier, like trial and error. Yeah,
because it's definitely a double-edged sword, right? Like, being super calculative, being a perfectionist in some in aspects of life, you sometimes tunnel in too much, and then you don't see the resources or what's outside of your scope because you're so hard-nailed on like, okay, I need to do this exactly to this point that I had in my head, and then sometimes the answer is outside of that scope, right? So, but again, you can use it in terms of quality, right? It's like when we want to put a product out there, we want it to be quality, right? Yeah. Like we want it to be at a certain standard, and that standard has to be met every single time, right? So again, double-edged sword.
And yeah, just continue having fun together.
Yeah.
Having fun with our family and friends,
For
and like
sure.
meeting whoever wants to try the subi.
Yeah, stuff like this,
Yeah.
like getting opportunities for
Yeah,
this, right?
so fun.
Which is super cool. This is, I think, both of our first times being on like a podcast-esque
Yeah.
type vibe.
Mhm.
So again, just taking every opportunity that we can. It fills our calendar, and like we could be exhausted, but that's what I was telling you. This is literally time where you grind it out. Like this is where you grind it out, and you make the sacrifices. You lose a couple hours of sleep, but at the end of the day, you can wake up and be like, you know what? This is one step, closer to our goals and stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any final comments or questions or anything you'd like to share with the audience?
I would say for the most part, I mean, follow us on Instagram.
Yeah, follow us on Instagram.
Oh yeah, where can the viewers find you on social media?
Yeah.
I believe it's Subi Winnipeg.
Subi Winnipeg.
Yeah.
So
that's,
Subi,
she can spell that out for you.
SUBI Winnipeg WPG. You can follow our Instagram there.
Yeah. So we have that.
Yeah.
We are leaving away for 2 weeks. So I believe we have an upcoming drop when we get back, but make sure to stay tuned for that because
It'll be posted on
we'll
the-
definitely post on Instagram. Until we get a website, that's also a goal, is to get a website
yes,
up and
yes,
running,
get a
because
website.
that will definitely be easier for her, because she's literally, whatever message you receive, she's literally typing out. So like to do it to like hundreds of people is definitely a struggle. So, but yeah, that's kind of where we're at with the business.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for
No problem. Thanks for
Thanks
having
for
us.
having us.
Definitely
Thanks for having us.
Well, this has been the Riverbend Podcast. My name is Andy Ocampo once again. Thank you for watching. Bye!
Bye.
Yeah.